Together, we can build a Jamaica where every young person has the opportunity to thrive.
While we continue to celebrate Youth Month, we're also spotlighting our parents, who are the backbone of all efforts to educate young Jamaicans and equip them with the skills to continue the trend of a sustainable future. The National Parenting Support Commission, NPSC, in partnership with the Ministry of Education and Youth, has set in motion an initiative to teach around 30,000 parents about effective parenting during November. As you may have guessed, the plan for this year of youth involves everyone. Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. We have a lot to share with you today, so stay with us. There's more coming right after the news.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, November 17, 2023. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging Jamaicans to stay safe as heavy rainfall continues to affect sections of all parishes. Speaking from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Prime Minister Holness says all Jamaicans, especially fisherfolk and marine interests, need to prioritize their safety and the well-being of their families and communities. Citizens are encouraged to follow official sources for credible and verified information. The Prime Minister assures that the Met Service and other government agencies are on standby to ensure swift response should the need arise. A flash flood warning was issued for low-lying and flood-prone areas of southern parishes, including Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, Portland, and St. Mary. According to the Met Service, potential tropical cyclone number 22 is expected to move across Jamaica later today with maximum sustained winds of near 55 kilometers per hour. While it remains poorly organized, the system could become a tropical storm later today or tonight. Over the next 24 hours, the Met Service is forecasting widespread rainfall and occasional thunder showers across the island, with strong gusty winds expected mostly across southern parishes. Isolated showers and thunderstorms are projected to continue into Saturday, mainly across eastern parishes. Students stayed home today as the Ministry of Education ordered the closure of schools due to the severe weather affecting the country. As the Met Service forecasts continued significant rainfall and potential flooding, the ministry says the closure was enacted to ensure the safety of students and staff as they journey to school and back home. School administrators were asked to activate the Education in Emergency Plan to support the continuity of learning and ensure students remain actively engaged. For the day, students transitioned to the remote or online modality that was heavily introduced during the COVID-19 pandemic. Those without access to the internet or a computer or tablet were to be given assigned tasks in their workbooks or textbooks to minimize the disruption in their learning plan. The Education Ministry also advised that in the event that the conditions worsen and schools are mobilized as shelters, provisions must be made to secure critical resources while providing access to bathroom facilities and other areas so displaced persons can be safely housed. In other news, the Ministry of Education is making progress in its work to connect all school campuses with broadband internet. Portfolio Minister Favour Williams says the ministry is in the process of procuring the equipment required for broadband availability. This, she says, will allow students to have internet access wherever they go on the school grounds.
Our goal is to ensure that all of our schools are connected, not just with a little dibby-dibby, connectivity, with massive broadband connectivities, and you can use your ICT equipment while you're at school to enhance your learning.
Meanwhile, information and communications technology ICT clubs have been established in over 16 high schools on the island under an initiative of the Universal Service Fund, USF. Education Minister Favor Williams has praised the USF for the initiative, which she says presents another option for children to develop their character, improve their academic performance, and contribute to the shortage of technology talent in Jamaica and the Caribbean.
The ICT Clubs in Schools program will provide an outlet for students to serve their community by developing the ICT skills through coding, machine learning, and others.
Members of the club are also expected to develop soft skills such as critical thinking, adaptability, communication, leadership, teamwork, and a strong work ethic. Minister Williams was speaking at the recent ICT club launch and pinning ceremony held at the University of the West Indies UWI Mona Assembly Hall. ICT clubs have been established at Mona, Vauxhall, Central, Lacovia, Old Harbour, Port Antonio, Wycliffe Martin, Bustamante, and Belair High Schools, in addition to Clarendon College and other secondary institutions. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining will be launching new programs focused on boosting yam and sweet potato production. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green says the programs will help secure food security while growing agricultural exports. In addition, the ministry will be focusing on 3 orchard crop lines in St. Thomas, which Minister Green asserts has been a leader in crop exportation, particularly mangoes.
Those orchard crop lines are mango, breadfruit, and of course, ackee. So we'll be looking to plant out at least 3,000 acres of those crops over the next 2 years.
He was speaking at the New Face of Food Stakeholder Engagement Conference in St. Thomas recently. Stakeholders were advised that the Agriculture Ministry would also be concentrating on animal proteins through the Small Ruminant Development Program.
Additionally, we have an artificial insemination program where if you already have a herd of goats and you're looking for better genetics, we will provide artificial insemination free of cost to help you build up that goat and sheep population.
And finally, 8 government and private sector entities have been awarded ISO certification from the National Certification Body of Jamaica, confirming their attainment of global quality standards. 4 government organizations, the Jamaica Customs Agency, Spectrum Management Authority, Cannabis Licensing Authority, and Administrator General's Department, are among those who received the certification recently. The other 4 entities were the UWI Fertility Management Unit and the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority, along with a chemist and a small business entrepreneur, Home Choice Enterprise Limited. As he congratulates the newly certified entities, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Aubin Hill, asserts that quality is a true enabler of competitiveness, as it ensures that products and services offered commercially meet high standards.
Jamaica's push to increase exports requires that organizations in the public sector and within the private sector improve and restructure how business is done. Certification is an important investment that can drive this process.
Senator Hill points out that his ministry, through the National Certification Body of Jamaica and the Jamaica National Accreditation Agency, is assisting local entities increase efficiency and competitiveness through global quality standards.
I encourage every company hearing me today, and that has moved beyond the pre-assessment stage, to do the right, profitable thing and become certified by the National Certification Body of Jamaica.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for staying with us. As we continue to move towards a more sustainable future, our next feature will showcase a music icon that has not only set the standard for other musicians locally, but also internationally by spreading the message of inspiration through reggae.
Miss Marcia Lynette May Griffiths, Commander of Distinction for sterling contribution to reggae music locally and internationally.
Well, I never actually had any vision of being here today, having, gone through that long journey in music. I just love to sing, and I discovered that I had a God-given talent from an early age, singing in the church choir, singing at school concerts, enjoying every moment.
She's nothing less than the Empress of Reggae. This reggae matriarch never fails to ignite the crowd, whether in studio or on stage. Her music connects with people of all ages.
I am Marcia Griffiths. We like jumping, la 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 la, la la. It was just a playful, happy song that everybody loved, and that song was my first hit song. I met Rita at Studio One, and it was like maybe years after that we met Sister Judy. I invited both of them to come and do some backup for me at a performance for a weekend. So on the third night, we just decided to do a jam session on stage. And the audience loved it, and the audience said, why don't you girls form a group? And we said, why not? And we formed the group, and I said, let's call ourselves I3. And Sister Rita said, I3, and I said, yes, it's like saying we three, but it's I3. At that particular time that we came together to form the group, Bob Marley and his original Wailers were having some differences, major. And he heard that we formed the group, and he invited us to do Natty Dread. In the studio, we went in, we did Natty Dread. That was straight #1. And then after His Majesty's passing, we went back in the studio with Bob to do Jah Live. And we ended up doing the entire Natty Dread album with Bob Marley. And boy, we became his three little birds, started touring extensively with Bob, and recorded all the other albums that Bob Marley has ever done, besides the Catch a Fire with the original Wailers. I think I'm truly blessed to have shared those beautiful musical moments with Bob Marley.
Her story didn't start there. She first started out as a solo artist, and a performance at the Carib Theatre one Easter Monday propelled her to greatness, meeting destiny helpers that further pushed her into her calling.
I met Bob Andy in 1964, and I think that was a blessing, meeting Bob Andy. He was a real, true, prolific songwriter, one of the greatest that we have ever seen. So we became friendly, and that was like an angel in disguise when I met Bob, because he was my guide and my everything. Then, as a young girl, Bob Andy and myself went in the studio and we recorded a song called Really Together. And he started writing songs for me. So the decade of the 60s, all the songs that I recorded at Studio One was written by Bob Andy. We eventually went on to do a song on the Harry J label, Young, Gifted and Black, which went #2 on the British charts, and we toured UK and Europe extensively. So my journey with Bob Andy was very special. My very first hit song was in 1967, Feel Like Jumping, again written by Bob Andy.
Feel like jumping, Lord, I feel like shouting now. I shall sing as long as I live, and as long as I live.
When I'm going to say I shall sing as long as I live, I truly mean what I'm saying. To be recognized, especially by, you know, your own people in your own country. I think it's one of the greatest feelings for me to know that, you know, your work was never in vain. And I am just hoping that this could or might be a lesson to this generation and generations to come, to teach them that once you focus on whatever you want to do and you're consistent and, you know, all the positive things that you need to accomplish whatever you love in this life and want to do, it is possible.
Even though a trough is likely for the island next week, tomorrow will be perfect for beachgoers. So expect bright sunshine and clear skies all day.
Yeah, right. Like how yesterday, Una tell me say it go bright and pretty. I wash my clothes and a pure rainfall. I'll know them not dry.
And today, we want to hear from you, our viewers. So call us now to get your weather questions answered.
Yeah, man, me go now call.
And we have a call online now. What is your question?
How come you tell me that today I go bright and pretty and a pure rainfall in my community?
It's not as simple as you might think to predict weather with full accuracy. To provide a forecast, we measure and assess current atmospheric conditions over various areas and compare that to previous observations. This allows us to have a general idea of what conditions to expect in a particular area. Rainfall, however, can be difficult to forecast, especially for small areas. From our analyses and observations, we can know that conditions will be ideal for rainfall, and we have a good idea of the general region where rain is likely, but it is sometimes difficult to give that precise location.
Oh, so you're saying even though you can tell me it will rain in my town, you can't necessarily tell me it will rain in my little district?
You've got it.
Oh, wait, I have another question. But you're not talking about one system where going to affect the island. Where next week? You think it's so early we need to know about that?
When it comes to telling the public about severe weather, the nature of the system determines how soon we start to share that information. For systems like tropical wave or a trough that may produce severe weather, advisories are issued 2 to 3 days before a system is forecasted to affect our area. For tropical cyclones such as hurricanes, advisories are issued once a system is expected to be formed within 48 hours, even if it will not affect Jamaica.
You know what else me always want to know? The Met Office and ADPEM, them do the same thing?
No. The Met Service is responsible for monitoring the weather conditions over the island and territorial waters and issuing reliable and timely weather services. ADPEM, which stands for the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, is responsible for maintaining a state of national preparedness for all types of disasters. When the system that could cause a disaster is a weather phenomenon, the Met Service monitors the progress to forecast and to determine the extent of the weather conditions.
You know, I never know there's so much things the Met Service do, and that weather forecasting is so complicated.
Yes, it is. And if you have more questions in the future, please feel free to contact the Met Service.
Parents, one way to begin your road toward effective parenting is to learn from others who have been where you are now. Please take a look.
6 parents, all passionate about their children's education, not dismayed by the cost for schooling or the frustration that can come with managing parenthood and work. They provide some important advice for the academic year.
First of all, I would ask them to look at their budget and also to prepare the child mentally to accept the things that they are unable to afford. For instance, a change of sporting gear. It might be important to the child or most important to the child, but the child might be able to go on with the sporting gear that is coming from last year, but the child would definitely need a new school shoe and also need the new books that will be used in the current school year.
But what I do, I run ward. In the night, I go to my grandson's room and I make sure he's in bed by 9. In the morning, we don't have an alarm clock, and that doesn't work. I am the alarm clock. I wake up and I wake him up and I stand up and see to it that he's up, because if I wake him and leave from his room back to the bed.
What would I do is normally like get everybody set out everything the night before, everybody put everything in place, and then in the morning now I just wake up, I look for after breakfast, everybody get bathed and get themselves ready, and we're just off to school.
First PTA meeting, be available. That is less pressure for you too, because sometimes the books that you purchase are not used in the school. So you have to be at the PTA meeting to know what is happening. PTA meeting is very important as a parent.
Come to the PTA, because the PTA can help you us to learn more about your children, what is going on in school, the strategy that we can use to help each other as parents. Because sometimes when you come to the school, other parents have the same type of tragedy or problem that we have. So when we share with each parents and share with each other, we'll better manage.
Just know that this is our duty as a parent, and what we have to do is just not to look at it as a challenge, but to look at it as one of the things that we have to face. So don't worry about it too much, just get the things done.
Time planning is a critical factor, because how you manage your time, it gives you the opportunity to better cope with the challenges that are ahead. And in terms of the frustration, I would advise that you be relaxed mentally. I know it's hard, because especially when there are financial constraints, but be relaxed and face the reality within yourself. If you're unable to go the extra mile at the moment, you are just unable. So you put in place mechanism that will mitigate the effects of you being in a place of uncomfortableness.
Because I'm a parent mentor, I treat myself by helping other parents. I have a little group, my colleagues and I, where we accumulate books. So we help our parents that we mentor also. And that is delightful for me. That is a passion, because I couldn't tell last I go out.
Yes, we have to find time for ourselves. So to unwind, oh my God, that's very hard sometimes to do. But you have to take a little time for yourself, you know, even a weekend. You know, you get your children over to their aunt or their grandma, and just take a little time for yourself. Take a day or two. Just go to the beach. Just take some time for yourself, even to just sleep.
Don't allow your stress to be the most important side in terms of how you operate. Because I tell you what, I can't find $1. And boy, life is so hard. And boy, it is so rough. I can't even find time to smile. I can't even find to share a light moment. No. You have to find time to make yourself comfortable. So share a joke with your own child. Share a joke with your peers. Remember some very enjoyable time back in your days, and share it with your children. Share it on the corner with your friends. Share it with the people that you meet on the bus. And that will just de-stress some of the tiresome days of poor management of money, the tiresome days of, you know, the unfortunate forthcomings if you're unable to buy that new book or that new school shoes.
And now, here's a message from the Minister of Education and Youth, Favour Williams.
As we transform education, it's not just in the classroom that we're looking. We have to look at those non-school factors as well so that we can help our children. I know for this school year, we have a target of training at least 100,000 parents in effective parenting so that they too can help their children. We're not saying that they are bad parents. We're just recognizing that parenting is a skill. We're not born with that skill, and we can learn it just like we learn other things. So a minimum of 100,000 parents to be trained this year. And we believe that as we continue doing that, we will begin to see improved relationships among parents and students, and that will translate into improved relationships at school, interactions at schools with peers and with teachers. And we will begin to see it permeate throughout the society.
There are two weather systems
This
developing.
is going to become hurricane.
The storm right now has winds of 100.
Met Service has issued a number of warnings.
There are a number of terms associated with the Atlantic hurricane season, but how many of them do you really understand? Let's talk weather.
Waters of the Atlantic remain very warm.
This is going to be a monster storm.
First, hurricanes, storms, and depressions are all types of tropical cyclones. A tropical cyclone is a system of winds with a warm core that originates over tropical or subtropical waters, for example, the Atlantic Ocean. Based on the wind speed associated with the system, cyclones are defined as follows. Tropical depression, a system which has winds moving up to 63 kilometers per hour. A tropical storm has wind speed up to 118 kilometers per hour. And a hurricane is a northern hemisphere cyclone with wind speed starting at 119 kilometers per hour. Hurricanes are rated categories 1 to 5. Relating to hurricanes, the eye is the center of the system, usually the calmest area in terms of winds. The eye wall is the area surrounding the eye and is characterized by intense winds. As soon as a significant system develops, the Met Service will take steps to inform the public. The terms that will be used include an advisory. This is any official information issued by tropical cyclone warning centers. It speaks to location, intensity, and the movement of the system, as well as any precaution that is to be taken. A tropical storm or hurricane watch is a public release from the Met Service advising that associated conditions pose a possible threat to the island within 48 hours. Tropical storm or hurricane warnings are issued when associated conditions are 36 hours or less away. Now, a flash flood watch says that flooding is possible and precautions are to be taken. A flash flood warning suggests that flooding has already been reported or will occur shortly. Those are some of the terms and definitions that you should be familiar with, especially during this season. For more information on these and other terms, you can contact the Meteorological Service of Jamaica at 876-929-3694. And remember, to be better prepared, stay in the know.
We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.